Thursday then saw the return of the Nations League. Germany against Spain, very much the headline act. It would finish one apiece. Timo Werner opening the scoring in the second half. It would be a late equaliser for Spain. Gea with the goal, meaning it finished 1-1. We welcome Frank Leboeuf into the conversation. Frank, overall 1-1, I think a fair result in a game where clearly both teams are still finding their fitness.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was, as we all said, you know, a game of a beginning of the season, and I played many of them. And you definitely looking for your marks, looking for, you know, the automatic thoughts with your teammates, and it doesn't work. And also the fitness, you can see that some players weren't ready. More, I would say, in the Spanish side than in the German side. I wouldn't say it was a boring game, because you can feel that you have something special from Germany, but we can see that lots of things has to be resolved on the Spanish side, especially in the midfield zone and at front. Well, we can say also in defense, because we don't know if they're going to keep that defense. But lots of changes from Luis Enrique to be done in the future, to find also in the future. So yeah, it was interesting in the way that we can see that Germany a step or maybe 2 steps ahead of Spain in before maybe that European Championship next summer.
Of course, Timo Werner, we've talked a lot about on this show, Stevie, making that big money move from Germany to Chelsea. How good a finish was his goal?
I think if you take it in the context of what we've just been talking about, certainly Frank's been talking about, you know, pre-season, you're not quite as sharp. Well, I'll tell you what, if he's not quite sharp yet, I'll tell you what, in the penalty box with this goal, he was fantastic. He knew exactly what was going on around him, pulling defenders in, nicking a little ball past defenders, and then the finish as well. So if he's not quite ready yet, I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see him when he is fully fit and 100% sharp, because he did look sharp today. I thought he probably should have had more than just the one goal, but looking forward to seeing him in a Chelsea jersey. That's absolute certainty.
Yeah, Chelsea fans will be chomping at the bit to see him in action in the Premier League, Ali. And it just seemed to be that moment where time stood still in the box for him to create that space.
Yeah, and time stands still for those that know what they're doing. And it feels like he's got more time because he makes it look like that. Because he's able to take that extra touch that Stevie's talking about, that allows to create that space away from Sergio Ramos, who's kind of stabbing at the tackle and trying to block the shot. You take the extra touch to create that lane, and then you hit the shot through that lane. But that only happens when you have a player that has this sort of talent. Because on the other side, you could see Rodrigo, and for as much work as he does, for as much runs off the balls as he gives Spain, for as much as hold-up play as he gives Spain, when it comes time to being inside the 18-yard box, the guy has difficulty scoring goals with any sort of consistency. No better example than the one that Emre Can plays over the top, playing the ball backwards over the top. Rodrigo is now in a one-on-one situation with Kevin Trapp. Kevin Trapp does a flyby. It's now a wide-open goal. And for whatever reason, Rodrigo is trying to take 2 and 3 touches extra and allows Kevin Trapp to get the ball away from him. There's another sequence in the first half where Fabian Ruiz comes off the right-hand side with a long run. Rodrigo makes the right move over the defender, goes off his shoulder. Now it's time to go finish himself, and he tries to find an extra pass. So there's a difference there in between a high level, a guy who's going to play for Chelsea, the big money move that we just mentioned to Chelsea from Timo Werner, and Rodrigo, who's not quite at that level. Gives you a lot of work, but doesn't quite give you the final product.
Elsewhere, Frank, I thought Leroy Sané caught the eye today.
Yes, and he has to get some credits on Timo Werner's goal, where in a way he pushes Sergio Ramos to not knowing where he has to go, because he makes a run, maybe unwanting to get the ball, but he puts question marks on Sergio Ramos' brain, and that makes a difference, and maybe some spaces also to Timo Werner. We could see that, and I always say that to our show, that we need now good centre half, but what we need in a forward situation and positions is players who can go fast. Leroy Sané, Gnabry, Timo Werner are very fast. They're very technical, but they're very fast and can turn very quickly and take on players very fastly. That's the problem with Spain, where only Ansu Fati seems to be in the same caliber, and we could see, as Ali said, that Rodrigo is even if he's a good player, he's very slow. And that's what you have to have. And this is my cat that I introduced to you.
That's
this
Miami.
is Lemon. Yeah, no, that's Lemon.
Oh, is that Lemon?
Get out.
What's interesting?
Get out.
What's interesting, I thought, Stevie, is that why doesn't he shoot Sané? Like a couple of times he was in through and it looked like it would be the better option, and he's always seemed to be looking for that assist.
I don't know, maybe there's a disease at Manchester City where you have to walk the ball into the back of the net, because that's kind of the criticism we have of City, and Sané's no different. Okay, he's got to buy, maybe he will change, but yeah, I agree. I actually always feel as though he has so much more to show us. He always feels me anyway that he didn't quite give me enough. I always think something's going to happen when he's got the ball at his feet. But the majority of the time, nothing does happen. So, listen, if he can take that extra step and actually make things happen more often, he's going to be absolutely sensational. And of course, I would agree with you. The first thing he needs to start doing is having a pop. Because what will happen is, if he does have a pop, then defenders will come and close him down quickly, which means he can then go in behind them. So, one step at a time. Get a shot off Sané, please.
He did have a pop, of course, in the first half, Ali. David de Gea making the save. I thought de Gea was arguably Spain's best player, making some key saves. Manchester United fans will be happy to see that.
And maybe the best thing that happens to David de Gea is that he's got competition now at Manchester United. That it isn't just a free ride, that Dean Henderson comes in and actually poses a threat. And maybe, if indeed there is a threat, that is the motivation, or perhaps the push, or maybe even the kick in the backside that David de Gea needs to say, okay, all right, let's put away whatever struggles I've had over the last couple of seasons, and let's focus on the things that I know I'm capable of doing. And what we know of him is that he is a very good shot stopper, that he's got good reflexes, that he's a guy that will make the spectacular save. Things that we know he can work on, well, he can come off his line a little bit better on crosses. He can command his box a little bit better than he does. However, some of the goals that he's allowed over the last couple of seasons for Manchester United are unlike David de Gea. Let's not forget that before this last couple of seasons, David de Gea was arguably Manchester United's best player, their highlight, their MVP. And yet that has turned around so quickly. So maybe the fact that he's got competition now, maybe that is exactly what he needs in order to really showcase his potential and really showcase how good of a goalkeeper he really is.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.